this all started, like, it was God's timing. It was a very dark season. We started the platform anyway, and it's been major ever since, right? Doesn't mean that our life is perfect, not at all. Again, we've been very transparent. For those who listen in, for those who have connected with us, you can tell if you're really listening to what we're saying, if you are consistent with joining us, right? Super loyal. Whether you get on the live or just watch our YouTube video, because once the live is over, our live is updated, uploaded to the YouTube channel automatically. It's updated to the YouTube channel. So I just want everyone to know that. For those who can't join the live for whatever reason, work, family time, handling stuff around the house, responsibility, no worries. You have the YouTube videos. You can go ahead and look up our channel. It's Joaquin Enchalate Untitled Project. Make sure that you look through the episodes. You're able to watch any episode. You're able to share the episodes. The beauty about sharing the episodes via YouTube is that anyone you send the link to, they're able to watch it without having an account. Versus Instagram, if you were to send a live via Instagram, you would have to have, it requires for you to have an account. So either way is good, because most people do have Instagram, but then remember, there are people out there who don't. Definitely share the YouTube link, preferably. And soon we're going to be transitioning over to YouTube anyway. We are putting things together. Everything is falling into place. Eventually, we're going to go ahead and transmit through YouTube directly, which is going to be major. Thanks for everyone who's showing us love right now. Once again, everyone who's watching this on YouTube, Facebook, welcome to episode 71. Everyone who's watching this on Instagram, appreciate y'all. Really looking forward to connecting with you all. And just to give you the great message, what we do on a weekly basis. Don't forget, we're connected weekly. Every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Central, and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, West Coast. It's been nonstop what we've been doing, and we're not planning on stopping. I'm not going to get tired of saying it. So just want to go ahead, while we wait for Pastor Carlos to get on, I'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all once again for joining. Today, it's been a hectic few weeks. I'm sure there's a lot of people who can relate. A lot that's been going on. I'm not the first. I'm not the last. You're not the first. You're not the last. Just know that you just got to keep going. Last week, we spoke briefly on basically giving you that boost, giving you that motivation that you need to not feel bad in whatever situation that you're in. Don't feel ashamed of what you've been through, what you're going through. Remember, there's going to be a whole life ahead of you. There is a whole life ahead of you. Today, wherever you're at today, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, is not your final destination. You have to continue to work. Stay strong, stay focused, stay positive, because things will change. Don't forget that life can change in the snap of a finger. I mean, it can happen overnight. Sometimes it takes most of us a few weeks, many of us a few months. It may take you a year or two, whatever the case is, but just make sure that every single day you're taking those small steps towards that big goal. Make sure that every single day you're taking those small steps towards that change, towards that goal, towards that idea, towards that anything, your vision, whatever you have in mind, whatever it is that you want to go ahead and accomplish, change, improve, develop. Make sure that you're working on it on a daily, and I really don't want no one to focus on hopium, right? Just hoping for things to change, right? It's normal for us to say, oh man, I hope things get better, and we've used that word, we've used that term many times. I've used it many times in the past, but I've also noticed that hoping ain't gonna do it. So it's hoping, praying, having that faith, knowing, believing that things will change. Best believe things will change. As tough as it is, it's not impossible. Not at all. And then don't be disappointed if you don't get what you've been asking for, because maybe it's not what you need. Remember, you're always going to receive what you need. It's not always going to be what you want. And there are many times where in the past or even now, you have or are receiving what you've wanted all along, to realize it wasn't a necessity, right? So sometimes we are blessed. So we know and confirm, like, okay, you know what? Maybe this ain't it. You get to receive what you've been asking for, but you're not going to get a yes all the time. It's not going to happen all the time. So you have to accept the yes and the no's. Remember, there's times when we pray for things and you feel like your prayer is unanswered. Best believe it is answered. It's just not the answer you wanted. It's plain and simple. So we have to keep pushing. Keep going no matter what. Keep going no matter what. It's not going to get any easier for as long as we're alive, for as long as we're here breathing. It's not going to get easier. You can always prepare yourself for difficult seasons, right? Which makes it easy. But remember, there's always going to be difficult seasons no matter what. No matter what your finances are, no matter what your status is, what your title is, what job you have, there's always going to be different levels. Always going to be different levels. There's a lot of people out there who feel like, oh, once I hit this tax bracket, all these problems are going to disappear. Best believe the more money you make, the more money you have, the more problems that may occur, that may come along, right? Because everything is based on our decision making. The decisions that we make, how we manage our money, how we manage ourselves, how we manage our emotions. Because if you think about it, everything is based on our emotion, purchases, issues, etc., etc. There's so much that's really based on our emotions. Mental health is everything. One thing that I really suggest you do is really focus on your mental health. Really focus on your health. Let everything else come after. Let everything else fall after. That's exactly what you need to focus on. Because if you don't have your mental health, best believe you're not going to be able to enjoy nothing great that comes in the form of money or material. Straight up. Straight up. Pastor Carlos said more money, more problems. Pastor Carlos, let's go, man. Let's go. I can't wait to get started with this episode. It's not going to be anything crazy, but I'm sure for someone out there, they're definitely going to be in need of the message that we have for today. Again, no matter what we got going on, we connect. No matter what we got going on, we're here. This is what we're here for. This is our purpose. We're not here to sell you a dream, to sell you courses, to put an image that doesn't exist, to give you lies, to pretend. We're here being very transparent. We've been working on this for how many weeks now? A number of weeks. We're at episode 71. Really, I want everyone to drop a heart in the chat. Everyone just drop a heart in the chat. Send those reactions over. I'm sure we're not receiving them from Facebook or YouTube, but I'm sure if you had the option, you would do so. Really appreciate it. You go ahead and wave at a few people. Sis, what's going on, Jael? What's up? How you doing? How you feeling? Hope all is well. Hope everything is well, mami. Bendición, mami. Okay, I see Big Bro's on. What's going on, Jeff? What's up? What's going on? So you know what? Let me go ahead and open up with the message. I want to go ahead and start off by reminding you exactly what we were saying in the beginning. No matter what you got going on, just know that this ain't your final destination. Believe in yourself and know that you are. Know that there's something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. I want to go ahead and repeat that one more time. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. So for those who constantly go through things, right? They're like, oh my God, things have been going great. Things have been going as planned. And there's always an obstacle getting in the way. As soon as you're getting close to that breakthrough, as soon as you finish breaking through that difficult season, here comes the next. It might not be a season, but it may be a moment, right? It may be a moment. And based on how we manage that moment, that time specifically, is what shapes the next season that we step into, right? Because it's all about perspective and mindset, how I've mentioned a number of times throughout the live. What we have in us, what we're capable of, is much greater than any obstacle, any attack, right? Attacks can be extremely intense, extremely heavy, to the point where it can get you disabled emotionally, mentally, drained. I've been in many situations where I've been attacked so bad that mentally and emotionally I'm just drained, and I stop believing in myself. I stop believing in what's in front of me. I stop believing in what I'm capable of doing. And it's gotten me to the point where I've settled for less. I've settled for what I had in front of me, and I stopped looking beyond that. I've been in situations where I really wanted to give up just in general. And along the way, I've learned that there's no way and no reason to give up and to stop going, to stop heading towards exactly where you want to be, to stop working towards who you want to be, where you want to be, where you want to get your family. There are critical times. There are definitely critical times, and it's not always going to be easy. It's not easy at all, but just know that we will break through no matter what the situation is or the size of the obstacle. Is there going to be hurt along the way? Of course there is. Are you going to be affected? Of course you are. It's how you're going to learn, right? When you're under pressure, that's when you actually learn the most about not only the situation you're in, but about you. You start discovering who you are, who you've been, what you've been doing wrong, what it is that you need to do in order for you to be successful, or in order for you to heal, or to get to the point where you are improving and developing along the way. You have to go through these difficult situations in order for you to get through and gain the strength for the next level. Because if we don't learn from these seasons, from these lessons, then how are we expecting to be successful in the future? How are we expecting to do things different in the future? How are we expecting to learn from the current situation that we're in? How are you expecting to be different? How are you expecting to navigate, to get through life if you can't get through difficulties? I've asked myself many times, why me? This was long ago in the past. But as you guys know, I've mentioned many times, I don't ask myself, why me? I only ask myself, what's the lesson here? What is there for me to learn? What did I do wrong to get to this point, or to be where I'm at today, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially? You may be asking yourself the same. And just know that this is exactly what you need in order to get to the next step, in order to get to the next level. This is exactly what you need. What you're feeling right now, what you're going through right now, is exactly what you need to find the answer to all that you've been questioning. Because sometimes we've had people come to us giving us the answer, but we've failed to listen. Sometimes because of so much betrayal and confusion and lack of clarity, we haven't been able to listen to the right people because we're not trusting the people that are in our lives. It's hard to tell who's who, but you have to be willing to take the risk overall. Risk is not only based on finance and investments. Risk is also in your personal life, getting to know someone, having this conversation with this person, getting to know someone to see if this is the person that may be able to help you. Why is this person in your life? It could be a friend, it could be your partner, right? It can just be anyone. You'll never know until you actually put yourself in that environment, until you actually open yourself up, allow yourself to meet new people, allow yourself to introduce yourself to new things in general. It's the only way. Some of us are still stuck where we're at because we're afraid to step out of our comfort zone. We're afraid to do things differently. We're afraid to let go of the people who have been around us but have been doing nothing. No good. It's been no good what's been happening. We are afraid to step into a new place, into a new relationship, building new friendships, building a network. That could be how we've mentioned in the past in multiple episodes. That's even people who are afraid to leave their current job because they're afraid to step into a new place. They're afraid to start all over. And you have to be willing to start fresh. Sometimes that's where your answer is. It's not where you've been. It's not where you are. It's where you're heading. So you've done so much in the past. You've been through so much in the past. But you're not going to sit in your past, right? You're going to accept where you are today. And you're going to focus. And you're going to look forward and continue to push forward. I mean, like I said, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. In fact, before it gets any easier, it's going to get harder. And that's just life. And you got to accept it. I don't care where you are. And you got to be very careful because sometimes you feel like, okay, I've broken through. I'm breaking through. You know, I'm not where I used to be in the past, but you can always get there. And you'll be surprised how it happens. You'll be very surprised. You won't even see it coming. Which is why you have to focus on your current situation and where you're heading. You can't let distractions pull you back. You can't let distractions take over your attention. You can't do that. You have to continue to focus on what's ahead, what's in front of you and ahead, going above and beyond for you. It's extremely difficult, but just know that you will pull through. You will get through. You will break through. Even though it seems impossible. I want to go ahead and repeat it one more time. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. You have what it takes to get to where you want to be. You really have what it takes to get to where you want to be. You just have to be patient, obedient. Because sometimes we want to do things. We want to rush into things. We want to find a shortcut, and there's no shortcut. There's definitely no shortcut. And you know what? If you get that shortcut, best believe, okay, it's going to feel good because you worked your way around it. But that obstacle is going to work its way right back to you. So the best thing to do is face it. Whatever it is that you're facing, face it. Face it and get through it. Run towards it. Don't run from it. Go through the storm. Don't run away from the storm. Run right through it. Because eventually you'll find calm. Clarity. Calm, clarity. You'll get the answers you need. Amen. Patience is waiting on God's timing. That's right. Patience and faith. Have faith. You know, and remember, for those who are out there who are delaying their blessing, pretending to be okay, pretending and, you know, covering up and hiding what they're feeling and, you know, and hiding what you're feeling doesn't always mean that you're not speaking about it, like you're not talking about it. Hiding, that means that you're drinking your problems away, smoking your problems away, disregarding your problems in general. Whatever your outlet is, you're delaying your blessing by doing that. again, it's going to work its way right back to you eventually, within hours, a day, versus facing it. And you'll learn the valuable lesson that's waiting on you. In order for you to break through, you'll gain the strength to continue to deal with what's coming. Because again, it's an endless process. It's an endless process. Not that you should be expecting the bad things to happen in your life, of course not. But just know there are going to be bad moments. The same way there's good moments. There are going to be bad moments, but remember, perspective and mindset. Know how to see it, how to look at it, how to tackle that issue. And if you don't have the answer, there's going to be people that are going to come into your life to give you the answer. You have the people to give you the answer. Pray heavy. That's a must. See, Pastor Carlos sent Once again, thank you everyone who's been joining and listening. It's definitely a pleasure to have you all. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Big bro, what's going on, man?
What's good, little bro? What's good? Now you've been hitting it well, man.
Yeah, man. So well that I almost forgot, but I went to go look to send you the invite, and then that's when I see it. You've been waiting a while, or?
Oh, I've been listening, man. I've been listening to see what you said. I've been monitoring here on Facebook and YouTube as well, but it's been a blessing.
Good, man. It's good seeing you, bro. Good seeing you.
Likewise, little bro.
Not sure where you were, but I did start with believe in yourself and know that you are. Know that there's something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. It's really what I wanted to focus on today, man.
Yeah, no, I went ahead and listened to that, and as you mentioned that, I'm just gonna dive straight into it if you don't mind, little bro. I feel the importance in going ahead and doing that, because there was something that you said that just reminded me. A lot of y'all might not even know the story of it, but it's Elijah and Jezebel, right? So there's a story in the Bible that talks about the prophet Elijah, how essentially you had King Ahab, and he was essentially a coward, right? He was run by Jezebel, and I'm going to touch on that in a minute. And I'm actually glad that Jael is on, because she shared a podcast that she had done not too far back regarding something that I'm going to touch upon on this. But in this, you had Elijah. Just reminded me, like when you mentioned what you mentioned, especially like you're not moving forward, right? You're looking like here at the past and all this other stuff, right? Jezebel was really essentially running the show, right? She was running the show. And the thing is that Elijah comes and he's like, okay, bring me, like he's trying to show who God is, right? He's trying to show exactly who God is. Look at everything that God does and all. And my God is the real God, So here comes all these prophets and all these different people, all these, all different kinds of people that want to believe like they have a stronger power than God, or that their God is bigger and all this other stuff. And it gets to the point where Elijah's like, I bet I'm going to make this so ridiculous for you that I want y'all to lay all this stuff, and I want y'all to throw all this water on it, everything that can make it not flammable, right? And essentially God goes ahead and drops fire and makes the whole thing light on fire, right? That was the moment, the defining moment that showed my God was bigger than the gods that y'all talk about. Y'all stuff is all fake. Here's a real God, because none of y'all have power. And mind you, he was outnumbered by a ton compared to these prophets. He was one, and he was outnumbered. And what ended up happening was that after he shows out and he's like, y'all don't want this smoke, right? Like, look at who my God is and everything. You would think that should have been the victory. That should have been like my crown achieving moment, that, yo, look who God, look who I'm rocking with. God is here. I got all this stuff on lock. Y'all can't do nothing. My God is real. I shouldn't have anything to worry, because if y'all God couldn't do anything, and here comes my God and he lights this, you know, all this wet wood on fire and everything like that, what do I have to worry? Because he's going to be able to take care of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to take care of me no matter what, because I'm being obedient, coming into this kingdom that I shouldn't be coming into, bringing all this smoke to y'all that I shouldn't be bringing, right? What should I have to worry about? And I think that a lot of y'all right now, a lot of us are in this boat right now where you have taken steps of faith to be able to say, yo, you know what? I know what I got to do, and I'm going to go do it, right? And you've taken those initial steps of faith to go and do that. But now what's happened is you have an enemy who's pushing back, right? And in this case, I'm gonna fast forward. Ahab comes to Jezebel, right? And tells Jezebel everything that Elijah did, and the fact that he executed all those prophets who failed him, he executed them with the sword, right? So Jezebel goes and she sends a messenger to Elijah, and she says, so let the gods do to me and more also, if I do not make your life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. In other words, she's saying like, yo, you went ahead and did this to me. You made me look foolish. I'm going to go at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and go at you for what he did. So, or for what your God did. So you would think after all this stuff that Elijah did, or rather that he had God do on his behalf, right? To show how great God was, you would think he'd be like, yo, what am I going to worry about this chick, right? What am I going to do with this chick? She's not going to do nothing to me. These people aren't doing anything to me. But the word says, when he saw that, he arose and he ran for his life. And then it talks about how he went a day's journey into the wilderness and how an angel came and provided for him to eat. And then it talks about like how, again, he goes and he moves to this place and that place and he eats, and the angel continues to go ahead and provide, right? An angel is constantly providing on this road that he decided to go down, right? So you would think, not only did you go and bring them the smoke, but when you decided to leave, God in his grace sent these angels to go and provide for you to be good, right? But check this out, bro. This is why it's important. It then talks about how he went into a cave. Now, I want y'all to think, if he goes to a tree to sleep under a tree, he's out in the open. He's going from tree to tree to tree. He's out in the open. But then he decides to go to a cave. Bro, what do you think about when you see a cave? You're going in somewhere, it's dark, you're isolated, you're on your own. Hopefully nobody can see you, right? In fact, I don't know about you, bro. When I think of a cave, I think of something depressing. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're going to spend day and night there, that's depressing.
You don't know what you're stepping into.
You don't know what you're stepping into. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And for somebody to want to be there for an extensive period of time, it's like, what are you doing? So God had to come to him, right? The word of God came to him and says to him, what are you doing here? In other words, it's like, yo, why are you isolating yourself? Why are you in this cave? And check this out. The craziest part is that right before this, right? Right before like as soon as he takes this journey, before he even gets to the cave, he prays that he would die. He prays that like this would be the end of me, right? He says, it's enough. Lord, take my life. I'm no better than my father, right? When you think about that, bro, we're talking about generations. So I want y'all to think about this for a second, because I think that's why the Lord is wanting to talk about this in specific. You start looking at your past, bro. You mentioned looking at your past. You want to know what's even worse than that? When you don't just start looking at your past, but you start looking at the ancestors in your past to be able to say, yo, they never made it past this. So I'm no good, you know, I'm no better than them. So just, I'm going to give up. You know what I'm saying? Because if I can't do it, then I'm looking at my past. I'm looking at everything that disqualifies me from being able to do it. So why should I do this, right? Because even my parents weren't good enough to do this. Why should I even bother, right? So he's essentially saying, after bringing all this smoke, let me go hide. Lord, take my life. And even still, the Lord's like, you got to think, instead of taking his life, I'm giving you to eat. providing for you. You brought this smoke, and now you want to die. No. Let me show you who I am. Let me send an angel. That's a miracle. For an angel to come and bring you something to eat, that's miraculous, right? But then you go and you hide in a cave, and God has to come and be like, yo, what are you doing in this cave? For real. Like, why are you here in this cave? And all he did at that point was say, I was very zealous for the Lord. For the children of Israel, they forsaken your covenant. They torn down altars and everything, killed your prophets with the sword. And he says, I am alone. I am left, right? I alone am left. I'm by myself. And they want to take my life. All that is complaints. Because you're talking about like, yo, why did you do all of this? I did all of this for you, but now I'm alone. And the reason I think that the Lord wants to speak this tonight is because some of y'all have taken those steps, but now you're in that mode in which you're isolating yourself, and now you're making every excuse to the point that you might be isolating yourself. And on top of that, you're now giving the excuses as to why not. You see what I'm saying? And bro, I think you're hitting the nail on the head, and I think the Lord is backing that up. Because he's like, yo, come out. I got more for you. What are you doing? This is a moment in which he's coming and he's saying, what are you doing? And he's saying, come out. But what are you doing? This is that come to Jesus moment for a lot of y'all, man. For real. So to me, bro, that was the direction. That was the direction. You hit the nail on the head with everything you said, but that was the God's given direction. Stop looking at your past. Stop looking at your generation. Stop looking at, oh, I'm by myself. Stop looking at everything that you believe disqualifies you. Because none of that matters here. And God had to give him revelation. God had to give him revelation about this. I think we're in that same boat. I think the Lord wants to give revelation tonight, bro.
Believe in yourself and know that you are. Know that there's something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. This ain't the time for anyone to give up. It's not the time to give up, not the time to dwell. It's not the time to just settle for less and choose the easy route, which is to complain and to accept your current situation, all because of what's been happening or because of how you're feeling. And because of how you're feeling, you choose not to make it different because you're unable to make it different. You're just tired, drained, blah, 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 all that stuff. It's no good. This ain't the time to give up or to give in. You got to show out. This is the time where you have to fight for strength. Continue to apply the pressure. Don't let the pressure apply you, right? You don't want it to get to the point where you let the obstacle take over you, to hold you down. You have to take over it. You have to get through it, straight through it. It's not going to be an easy road. It's not going to be easy at all. Like I said before, it's much easier to complain, to accept because of how you're feeling and put the blame and use all these excuses to not do much. But I like what you said, big bro, about when people look at their family, they can see how there's been generations who never got through it and been through the same situation. And now they're willing to just say, hey, you know what? My parent or parents survived. You know, they've been good with so little. They didn't really have to do much. And this is why you see people staying in the same place, because they're more comfortable in the comfort zone. They're more comfortable where they're at mentally, emotionally. You've seen, like, even myself, I've seen how people in my family don't heal or don't change. And this goes all the way from people who, I'm going to say everyone is successful, but what I want to say is there's people, like, even in my family who are successful, and there's others who consider themselves not being successful because of their profession, right? Because of their job title, because of a degree or not having a degree. But when it comes to our mental and emotional health, everyone's affected. Everyone's affected some way, somehow. You have a lot of people who are in denial. I've been in denial in the past, but I've said that I haven't been transparent about it or honest about it. How many people are covering it up, not even having those conversations because they have to paint a perfect picture, because they don't want no one to look down on them. They don't want anyone to think different of them. Listen, like I said in the beginning of today's episode, it don't matter what tax bracket you're in. It does not matter what your job title is. If you're not doing right emotionally or mentally, then what are you doing right? You're actually setting yourself up for self-destruction. That's what you're doing. One way or another, you're going to set yourself up for self-destruction. And it's time to accept it, because if you don't, life is going to do it to you, and everyone's going to see what's been really, really happening in you. Big bro, I see you want to drop something.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because the thing is too, you make the situation worse than what it really is. Because in this instance, in the story of Elijah that I gave you, not only did the Lord come and provide for him, but on top of that, he went and said, why are you in here? You know what I'm saying? But he didn't do that just once. He did that multiple times. He had to ask multiple times, what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, long story short, God has to tell Elijah where to go, who to anoint. He tells him, anoint this person over as king over Syria. Over Syria, he says, anoint this person over here as king over Israel, and then over here you're going to anoint this. You're going to anoint Elisha as the prophet that's going to be in your place. So essentially, your successor for the future, right? And then he goes and essentially says, whoever escapes the sword of this king is going to catch this king, and whoever this king over here whoever escapes his sword, the other king's going to get him too. And then and then whoever escapes both of them, Elisha's going to get them. You know what I'm saying? And ends up saying, remember, he said, remember, I told you the excuse, no, I'm by myself, everybody's gone, blah, 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 all these excuses. What does God tell him? Not only are you anointing these three, and they're going to be able to catch everybody, but on top of that, he goes and he says, I reserved 7,000 in Israel. So in other words, here he is in his problems, in his isolation, saying, I'm by myself, right? And God is like, nah, if you would have came to me, I would have revealed all this stuff to you. I got 7,000. 7,000. You ain't got no problems. This is going to be taken care of. And so I don't know who God is talking to this evening, but you've been walking in what you need to walk. You've been doing what you need to do. You took the first steps, but now you got this enemy pushing back on you, saying, yo, fall back. Here's this difficulty. I'm going to throw this smoke at you. I'm going to throw that smoke at you. And you've been like, okay, I'm just going to go into the wilderness. Oh, I'm just going to go under this tree. Oh, I'm just going to do this. And then you get into that point of isolation. You get into that cave. And you start in that cave making your excuses. You start making your excuses as to why not, why not, why not, why not, why not. And, oh, Lord, just take this now because, like, I just can't. And God is coming right now, and he's like, yo, I'm bringing you 7,000. I have 7,000 for you. You know what I'm saying? I have 7,000 for you. God is essentially saying today, I got these people for you. I got this provision for you. I have these angels for you. I have, I've got people who are going to fight the spiritual battle for, with you. That I'm going to use. It's not going to be you. That's the thing. You're mentioning something real good, because you end up mentioning, like, don't forget what you have in you. And I believe that that's 100% on the money. Don't forget who you have in you, because you also have the Holy Spirit in you. And don't forget who's fighting the battle for you, because you're not fighting the battle by yourself. If you walked into this purpose, if you walked into this battle and God's the one that has asked you to fight this battle, you are not fighting that battle. You're taking the steps. You're being a participant, but somebody else is fighting the battle for you. And then you want to fall back. And with this, I'm going to leave this to you, little bro. This is important because we're talking about, in this case, Jezebel, right? little bro, I'm going to bring to people's attention, and some of y'all might think I'm crazy, but believe me, as we dive into this into the coming weeks, because I believe that it's something to talk about in the coming weeks, and it's something that when Refiners Church start talking about it in public, you're going to start seeing it in public as well. So we're gonna hit, you know, not just here on Thursdays some of this stuff, but I'm going to be hitting you guys pretty soon with this stuff, you know, on the regular to make y'all aware. Jezebel is not just a spirit on her own, bro. It's not. Jezebel, right, was trying to have people worship the god, which is Baal or Baal. Different people pronounce it different way. That Baal, right? That right there has to do straight up with gods that are part of the devil's trinity. So right from the jump, then the enemy goes and imitates, right? The enemy goes and imitates. He tries to imitate everything God does. And you've seen it before, bro. He's an imitator. He's the illest imitator. You know what I'm saying? And this is important for you to know, because the word itself says, my people perish because they lack knowledge, right? So it's important for you to know. One of the things that we said from the jump, getting into this platform, was that we were going to give y'all stuff that was going to give you more knowledge in terms of especially the things that you're battling, of course, and the things that you can already see, but also the things that you can't see, because it's important for you to understand it, right? Jezebel was trying to get people to worship Baal. Baal is like number one, right? Bro, that's who she was fighting with. I hate to break this to y'all. Baal is already being worshipped here in the world, and y'all ain't even, most of y'all ain't even paying attention. Trust me, I could give y'all instances biblically where we're doing the exact same thing that these people were doing when they were worshiping Baal. And then you have Jezebel, who's the second one, coming, yo, worship him, worship him, worship him. There is an enemy. There's a second part to this trinity called Astaroth. That's the number two. And Astaroth is the one who's fighting these battles, who's doing this big pushback. And I'm going to ruffle some of y'all feathers right now, but it's the truth. I'm going to show y'all Astaroth is the god that essentially went and was major, big time back in the day, biblically, promoting sexual immorality, what we got on right now. When we talk about a trans movement, right? Let's just go alphabet community movement. We go into the T's right there, right? You want to know what Astaroth said? Astaroth says, I'm a man, but I'm also a woman. I want y'all to give that some thought. This is a demon that's essentially saying that. Look at the agenda right now, especially those of y'all that are like 80s babies, 90s babies, 70s babies. You went through the major gay and lesbian movement. You got a chance to see it in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, when we had HIV epidemics, AIDS epidemics, right? We got to see that happen. Come on now. You live 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, even early 2010s, mid 2000, and 10s, your 2015s, your 2017s, your 2018s. When did you see the T's in this community being a thing? Not never. Not never. But you're seeing it now. And you're not seeing it at a small scale. You're seeing it now. They're trying to get into your Bud Light. You see what I'm saying? Into your Bud Light promotions. They're trying to get into your kids' programmings with your Mr. Beast.
Bro, I was about to mention Netflix.
They get into
even Jurassic World. I was surprised.
You see what I'm saying? Bro, this is the exact same thing that Jezebel was doing, fam. This is not coincidence. The reason I mention it, and we can touch upon that some other day, but it's to make you aware. You know when Baal starts coming in? When you start taking God out. The moment you start taking God out, Baal starts to make himself known, starts to come in. It's like, you have to think, When you make an empty space, something has to fill that space. And that's just logical. Come on, in your closet, you go and you make a space in the closet. Does that closet stay empty forever? No. You're going to find something to take its place, right? Something to be put in its place. So when you're like, okay, I'm going to take more of God out, which I think we can all be in agreement. We've taken more of God out, right? Something has to come in its place. Who you think that is? So when we talk about all the evilness that's been going up, bruh, school shootings, the evilness that we see in our schools, not just in terms of school shootings, but bullying. This week I saw a video of one of the T's that I'm talking about. One of the T's that I'm talking about in that alphabet community, right? Going and whooping on a female. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Going out there and beating on a female as if it was two females fighting. And then let's be honest here. We're not talking two females fighting, bro. We're not. There's a significant advantage. There's one of those T's right now that's doing MMA fighting and whooping on all the females. And and the thing is that the society wants to act like, nah, but we need to let people do whatever they want to do. And as a result of doing whatever they want to do, right? We start, because we want to be okay and we don't want to be seen as the bad person and all this other stuff. And mind you, none of this means that you don't love people. I love people. I love everybody. But there comes a difference when we're making excuses as to what's not right. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, once you start making these excuses as to what's not right, when they do something wrong, you have to go out there and then act like it's all good. Why? Because you already said yes to everything else. So this spirit is already here. That's the second spirit that makes its way in. When the first one was replaced, which essentially is the one that's going to possess that area, right? The second one comes in to start and pervert that area. And the thing is, that's the one that starts doing the major attacking. So all of this is important. Why? Because a lot of y'all are fighting these battles in your life. And I'm telling you, there are demons that are fighting back on you right now. They do not want you to receive your blessing. They do not want you to get to your purpose. They do not want you to be doing the right thing. They want to go against you hard. And you need to know what you're going up against. Tonight, God is bringing this whole thing about Elijah. And I think a lot of y'all felt that way. Like, yo, it's true. I started walking in that direction. I try to do the right thing and everything. And I just get into this moment where I feel like I'm isolated and I'm like, I'm by myself. And this is a difficult thing to go against, right? And you need to realize he who is in you is trying to tell you flat out, yo, you're not by yourself. I got a squad that is with you. I'm in you, and I got a squad spiritually battling for you. Angels around you fighting these battles. The Holy Spirit giving you direction, letting you know what to do, what to say, and all this stuff. And you need to have this understanding that you don't fall back. And a lot of us are falling back. Now let's bring it back into the practical. A lot of us are being called to be able to do things. Maybe it's to get your education. Maybe it's to get your family right. Maybe it's to get these relationships right. Maybe it's to go and stack your paper. Maybe it's to get into this job. Maybe it's to open up a company. Who knows? But the bottom line is that you feel like you're getting direction. And let me tell you, when you start getting the pushback, when you're going in the right direction, that means that you're going the right place. Because whenever you start going towards blessing, there has to be resistance. And you have to have a breakthrough on the resistance. I think those of y'all that have ever looked at the stock market in our financial heads, or looked at crypto or something like that in our financial heads, know that there is a support and there is a resistance. There's a certain thing that will support you, that won't let you fall back more. And there's the resistance that won't let you break through. And you know that you hit the next level when you broke through that level of resistance. And what happens is that when you have that resistance, What happens is, let's say that you have a support and you have a resistance. Let's say God is saying, okay, I got you right now, but I need you to try to walk up this mountain, and I need you to try to get up here, right? And I'm going to have people battling with you, and we're going to go up and we're going to go up, and you get to this point and you can't break through the barrier. What happens is, when you finally break through this barrier here, everything that was supporting you starts coming up and says, okay, I'm going to start supporting you at this level now. Let's see how much higher we can go up and see where your resistance is going to be. And spiritually, we got the same exact thing happening right now. And you got somebody that's looking to knock you back as far as you can, to tell you, yo, back up, get out of this. This is not your place. You don't belong here. But let me tell you right now, if you believe in God and you believe that God is with you, you belong everywhere that he sends you. So don't let somebody try to make you give up the position that you are fighting for, because God tells you to claim that position, because an enemy is never going to go down without a fight. And if you don't believe it, go look at historical wars in the physical, the real stuff. There has never been a country, there has never been a nation, there has never been a town that has had a battle for that spot that had those armies come in and be like, just take the land, I'm good. Everybody's always fought for that spot, no matter if they've been in the right or the wrong. And the same thing's happening right now in the spiritual, and we got to fight for it, bro. We have to fight for it. We can't give up.
Big time. Big time. Big bro, I feel like we got straight to it, man. Straight to it, you know, and I feel like we touched this topic last week, but it was more general. Today we got a lot deeper into it, more specific. And I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because people can actually understand that it's not them, right? That there's definitely spiritual warfare out there. We've mentioned it in the early episodes, right? When we first started this platform. There's an episode specifically on spiritual warfare, which was amazing because we had testimonies that day, about 2 or 3 that day, including myself, of individuals who have encountered, you know, these demonic experiences and just the spiritual warfare in general. And just know that, you know, there's a lot of things that's out of your control. The only thing that you can control, again, is your emotions and your decision making in that moment, your perspective, your mindset, just keeping it intact, in just staying focused, because you don't want it to, you know, take you off track, which is the whole purpose. Is a distraction to get you off track. It's definitely a distraction to get you back to where you are, or to get you to your lowest moment, to the bottom. And not everyone makes it out of it, because, you know, it's hard for people to start all over. It's hard for people to, you know, be mentally drained and emotionally drained because they're just tired. Remember, everyone has a different capacity. You don't know. Like I said before, mine may be different. My tolerance may be different from you, big bro. You know, you may be stronger than I am. This is why you hear about people committing suicide. This is why you hear about
Measures
people,
of faith. It's measures of faith.
you know, this is why you hear about people going through it, you know, having mental breakdowns to the point where they have been affected, you know, dramatically, where it's changed them overall. Like I've known people who lost their mind, literally. And I hear about stories like, oh no, you can definitely get back from it. But from the people that I've seen, they have not gotten out of it. They're either on meds or they're on drugs. Same thing. One is illegal, the other one's legal. It's the same thing. And then you have others who are not even on anything, but they just lost it. They're just not the same. You know, they look disabled. You know, they have their extremities, they're functioning properly, but mentally they're not all there. To the point where they can't even work. Now, it's hard for us to tell if it's by choice, right? Because sometimes we lead ourselves into depression. We choose not to step out of it. We choose not to seek the help that we need in order for us to change, to heal. But It doesn't change the fact that you've seen people get destroyed by simple situations or by various situations. Because remember, I've also mentioned, for us, it may seem simple, but for someone else, it's traumatic. Because again, everyone is different when it comes to the tolerance, to the pressure that they're receiving today. And mind you, we've had a recession in the past and many years, right? We've known about the Great Depression. We've learned about, or most of us have learned about, what's happened in this era, right? In that era, it's a lot of struggle. Now, it's not only about losing jobs or, not having a job or not making enough to sustain your daily life, your family, et cetera, et cetera. But we're living in an interesting time right now as we speak, very critical, to the point where we don't know where it's heading. And all we can do is focus on where we're at today and what we're doing today for a better tomorrow, to prepare ourselves for tomorrow. This way, no matter what we're going through, not like we won't be affected by it, we're human. You may listen in and listen to our platform, and you may say, oh my God, Pastor Carlos is great. The knowledge he has, Jay Mejia is also great. Some people may even say, I wish I can be like them, or, you are. We're all the same. This is why we're waking each other up. This is why we're putting on each other. This is why we're supporting each other. This is what this is all about, is having these conversations. Now, let me tell you, it may seem like we're gurus, and we're not. You are well experienced. It's just that you've been afraid to speak about your experiences. Now, even though I'm strong, I'm positive, and my perspective is on point, my mindset, don't get me wrong, I'm affected at times. There's times where the enemy, the attack is so strong that it does hit me hard, to the point where I don't want to get anything done. But I fight through it, though, because I've learned this the hard way. I've had so many things happen to me, and I'm not going to say, oh, it's happened to me and I don't know why. I know exactly why it happened, because I've been a fool, right? And then there's other situations where I couldn't control, and it just happened, and it affected me mentally, emotionally, and I was affected by it so much that I might have become toxic at one point, not only to myself, but even to others. Or I was even attracting toxic people into my life. And that's all I was accepting at one point, because I was not stepping out of the comfort zone. I wasn't stepping out of the environment that I was in. I wasn't stepping out of that mindset I was in, because it's what I knew then. It's what I knew then. I know different now. Things are much different now. So I know what not to do, where not to go, especially when you're in that difficult season. Especially when you're in that difficult season. There's certain things that you shouldn't be doing, because you're so vulnerable at the moment. You may think you're not, because being vulnerable doesn't mean that you're easily convinced. It doesn't always mean that. It means that your strength or your weakness, whatever it is at that point, may make you feel a certain way, to the point where you're just going to give in to whatever's going to give you satisfaction at the moment, or instant gratification. And you don't want to delay your blessing. Like I said before, you do not want to delay your blessing. You don't want to delay your healing. You need to face it. I've been one to run away from my problems, but I've learned that I have to face every single one of them, no matter what. I've been one that I just wanted to set those problems aside. You know what? I can deal with it tomorrow. No, I'm dealing with it today. And you know what? If I can't find a solution for it today, then I'm going to have to deal with it tomorrow. But this is not going to be a forever thing. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to face it, because sometimes solutions don't just pop up in seconds, minutes. Sometimes it takes a few hours, a few days, weeks. But best believe, if you focus on the solution, you're going to find it much faster than disregarding it, than setting it aside, than numbing your pain delaying your healing. You got to be aware of you. You got to be aware of who's around you, who you're accepting in your life, what you're accepting in your life, what you're accepting in you, whether it's through your ears, your thoughts. You got to be very careful because these are critical moments. The music you listen to, the TV shows you're watching, the content you're watching, your reason for being on social media. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of people out here complaining about not having enough money for this and not having enough money for that, but you're on social media for 4 hours a day. You know, if you think about it, if you really think about it, you technically have 8 hours a day for you or your family or whatever else you got going on. Because you're supposed to be sleeping 8, right? I'm not saying everyone sleeps 8 hours, but you're supposed to be sleeping 8, and you definitely work 8. And we're not even counting the people who are doing 10 to 12 hours. Some people are even doing 16. Some people are out here doing 16 hours.
Yep. And bro, before you continue on there, I want me, because I know some people will be like, nah, man, this, I know some of the stuff that Pastor Carlos probably brought out right now might be a little bit crazy, and I don't know about that. Number one, don't worry, I used to be just like you. And again, number two, once you start to give people knowledge, they start to see like, yo, this stuff is kind of lining up, right? I want to get you guys to understand, aside from what I told you in terms of the alphabet community and the T's, right? In that community. But aside from that, one of the things, or excuse me, two of the areas that particular demon that I was talking to you about, that's kind of overtaken here in America, but especially worldwide, even in most of the world as well. Two of the things that they focus on, and it's part of what you just touched upon right now and something we touched upon earlier: laziness. How do they seduce? Laziness and self-doubt.
And self-doubt is major.
And you just touched upon self-doubt. So when you start to look at the self-doubt, that's a major part, because that's the one telling you, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it. And the reason that you can't do it, here's the self-doubt. Not only does it provide you can't do it, and here's why, but that's where it starts to creep in and say, yo, but if you do that, maybe you should do this instead. Because since you can't do it, maybe you should do this instead. They use the self-doubt that they are trying to plant in as a seed in you to go and make you do something else. That right there, mistake. And then the laziness, like you mentioned, what you doing on social media? What you doing on social media? You know what I'm saying? What are you doing on social media? Because a lot of people, what are they doing on social media? Looking at the memes,
scrolling through,
just scrolling. Let me look at the gossip. What does Kim K have right now? What does Chloe have right now? What Kylie Jenner got right now? Yo, what's going on with Kanye? And you just continue to go through. Bro, let's call it what it is. That's no longer. There gets to be a point in which it's entertainment. Absolutely, it is. But when you're not doing what you need to do, what you've been known that you've been called to do, and you put it on the back burner, that's no longer just entertainment. That becomes laziness. They seduce you in that moment of laziness to make that mistake. And again, that is something that's biblical. King David tried to please God as much as possible. One of the biggest mistakes that he made came on the day that he decided to be lazy. When he made the decision to go and sleep with somebody else's wife and got her pregnant, and then made the decision to go and have her husband killed, right? Like get him to purposely go into war to die so that he could take her as his wife, so that he wouldn't have the shame of getting her pregnant and all that other stuff, right? Like out in the open, trying to hide things, right? Because that's what happens when we start to sin, when we start to make those mistakes. We want to hide the little mistakes that we've made, right? Or big mistakes, so depending on how you view it, right? But what was the root of it for him? On a day anytime that they went to war, the king always goes to war with his troops. Always. That day, his army went to war, and he decided to stay in bed. He decided to be lazy on that day. And that led to the rest of the mistake. All the mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake that happened. So that's why this enemy knows, yo, if I can get you to have self-doubt, look at how crafty it is, bro. If I get you to get self-doubt and you start feeling down and you go in the cave, what happens to most of us when we get isolated and depressed? Let's be honest. We get lazy. Not because we want to, but because we going through it and I don't really feel like doing nothing. This is so hard. Life is so difficult. I don't want to deal. Trust me, and I'm telling you because I know I've gone through it. I go through it. You get up and you're like, man, what's on the menu for today? What's next? Or whatever it is that I got to deal with, man, I really don't want to deal with that today. You know what I'm saying? And I think that y'all who are connected with us tonight have gone through that. And that's where the enemy tries to go, okay, self-doubt. You don't want to go through it? Let me hit you with the laziness, the reason why you shouldn't. And all that does is dig a deeper hole. And you start to make bigger mistakes. We got to be careful because there's that enemy out there. Again, it falls in line with what this enemy does. That enemy's crafty, bro. But people, again, you don't want to perish because of lack of knowledge. You need to understand that that enemy is there. All right? That enemy is there. Go ahead, little bro.
And I just want to give a shout out to everyone who's been watching up until this point, for everyone who's always joining us on a weekly to listen to the topic, for those who engage in the chat, for those who join the live, for those who are watching us once again, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I appreciate you all for episode 71. And big bro, we've been going at it. We haven't been stopping. You know yourself, there's been days where you know, it's difficult, and you know, we still get on no matter what. You know, no excuses. We still able to make it happen because again, this is our purpose. This is what we're here for. We're here to show you the way, to help you, to discuss these topics, to make it normal, because it's not what we have much of on social media. On social media, we see a lot of comedy, violence, you know, TikTok and all this other stuff, but we don't see much on mental health, right? Of course, we have the motivational videos. If you see my page is full of that, inspirational, just to get you going, because it's exactly what I need on a daily basis. That's why I post it. If I'm concerned about our view, big bro, you already know. All I got to do is post what's trending. All I got to do is post the funniest video out there, or the most violent video out there, to get people to come to our page. But that's not what our platform is about. That's not what my page is about. That's not what your page is about. It's about empowerment. It's about development. It's about growth. It's about healing. This is what we are involved in. This is what we're pushing. This is what we're trying to put out in the world. This is what we've been doing, and thank God for technology, how we've been able to do it on Instagram, on social media in general, all across the platforms that we've been blessed to stream through. And again, we're not planning on stopping. We're on every week, every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Central, and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, West Coast. Please make sure to check the link in my bio. You'll see all the links there. I have our YouTube channel where we have all of our episodes uploaded. As soon as we finish our live, it's automatically uploaded to YouTube. Make sure to, you know, if you want to catch up, if you got into this live halfway through the episode, all the episodes are on YouTube. So, you know, go in there, take a look. I have the link in my bio. Make sure to take a look at my clothing brand. I do have my YouTube channel. I do have a link where you can make donations. By the way, you can also buy a badge on the live. You're not obligated, but it's more than welcome. You're not obligated to make any donations, not at all. But it is one way to support the platform, to support everything that we're doing and everything that we're planning moving forward. So appreciate everyone who has been donating, for those who are willing to donate. But again, if you're unable to, that's fine. This platform is for you, whether you donate or not. I also have the links where you can drop your information, your email, or your phone number. We'll be able to email you or text you any updates regarding the platform, any changes, any improvements. No scam. We're not here to sell you courses. We're not here to sell you anything. It's just strictly updates. That's what you'll be receiving. So go ahead, take a look at the link. And for Big Bro, he got Refiners Church. Big shout outs to Refiners Church. He can give you more information on it, but definitely check out his page. Make sure to follow Big Bro at C Chan Latte. I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat in just a few. At C Chan Latte, and just stay updated. You know, a lot of good things. He's in the Houston area. And moving forward, you know, he's going to keep you guys updated whenever he starts streaming. But the man is in charge. The man is in charge. Been truly a blessing how God speaks to him. Super anointed. And the team that he has with him, spiritually and physically. It's just amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and drop your username, Big Bro, in the chat so they can go ahead and follow.
Appreciate that, little bro. Yeah, go ahead and do that, because here in the next week or two, we're going to be moving on, I think probably to like the next phase of everything, so that we can, you know, start giving y'all to eat spiritually, you know, consistently and everything like that. One thing I do want to share too as well is that because I know, again, like I mentioned before, some of y'all will be like, yo, that's that stuff that they were talking about a little bit that Pastor Carlos was mentioning, that sounds a little crazy. Believe me, there is nothing crazy about it. Those of y'all, like we talked about in that one spiritual warfare episode, that at one point we'll do something similar. Those people who have gone through that stuff, who have been delivered from that stuff, can tell you it's real. It's no joke. You know, it's no joke. It's something they wouldn't wish upon anybody. And the thing is that stuff is out there right now. And the whole thing is, like you said, this is about showing people, giving them knowledge, helping them build up. But on top of that, it's about empowering you. It's about delivering you. It's about making sure that you are good in absolutely every area, you know, of your being. We want you to be good in every single area. And the thing is that we know what's attacking right now, and we want you to be good. We don't want y'all to fall under that kind of attack or that kind of influence, which is why I felt the need to mention this evening, so y'all can know, be on the lookout. Like little bro said, right now is a very key point to be looking around. Watch out who's in your circle. Watch out who's trying to get close to you and all this other stuff, because believe me, the enemy is out there like a roaring lion, seeing who he can devour. And if you're not careful, they're going to be coming for you. You know, they're going to be coming for you to try and keep you chained up, try to keep you locked down into where you at. And that's not where you want to be. And that's why we're giving you this knowledge to empower you and to be there for you. And of course, like little bro said, with the church, with the Refiners Church, let us know, hit me up. Well, we can be in prayer for you. We can, you know, go ahead and back y'all up and everything like that. That's what it's about, is to be here as a team, to be able to do that for you. So don't hesitate. Don't hesitate.
For sure, Big Bro. I mean, we got straight to it. I really hope everyone received that great message today. Keep pushing. Don't give up. Keep going, because again, this is not where you belong, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, or financially. Moving forward, things will get better, but you have to focus on it getting better. You have to focus on facing that obstacle. Just want to repeat it one more time. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there's something inside you that is much greater than any obstacle. Just remember that. I mean, Big Bro, is there anything else you want to go ahead and drop before we get disconnected? I think we're good. We're good. I hope everyone received. Go ahead and drop a heart in the chat.
Yeah, I'm good on my end, little bro. I'm good on my end.
Yeah.
Before we disconnect, of course, give you guys the invitation. If you have anything that you guys want to share, if you need prayer, whatever you might need, please go ahead, reach out to us right now. And you know, we want to be there to to support you guys in that. So hit us up now. Let us know. This is an opportunity. I know we went heavy prayers last week for one person that was in the group. So we want to make sure to be doing that for you guys consistently, fighting that battle, because it's not just about talking with you guys. It's about the platforms open to you guys as well. So please, definitely.
That's right. Definitely. Oh, and one last thing, just want to remind everyone, almost forgot about that. Make sure to send out the live whenever you're on the live and you feel like anyone is in need of a message or anyone should be here with us, send them the live. On Instagram, you have the paper plane, the bottom right corner. You have the option to send it directly through the messaging on Instagram. You also have the option now to send it via text or DM. But I believe that only Instagram users have access. The difference between Instagram and YouTube, what's great about YouTube is that if you share the link on YouTube, everyone's able to view the video. There's no restriction. It's not required for you to have an account to watch any videos on YouTube. So make sure that if you're able to share both, that's great. You know, if you're on Instagram, just send it over. I'm sure people will find their way, or they'll look through our profile and find the links to our YouTube. Because there's a lot of people out there who are in need, the people you least expect. And even if you know someone who's really in need of it, like, you know, deep down, encourage them to join us, you know, encourage them to just listen in. They may want to put out their testimony, put out their story. And remember, your story is someone else's healing. Your story can heal someone else. You never know what or who you're saving out there by simply speaking and putting your experience out. This is why I do it. I do it because I know there's a lot of people. We are basically the voice of those who are afraid to speak, are afraid to put their experience out, to speak about anything that they're currently going through or have gone through in the past. We're trying to build a safe place to have these discussions, you know, a community that's not afraid to share this type of information, right? And eventually it's going to be much greater what we're going to be doing outside of the live. It's going to be much greater. And really, really looking forward to what God has in store, because there's going to be so much more. And I know even on my end, there's a lot that I want to do, especially for the youth, just to make sure that people don't commit the same mistakes we've committed in the past. And if they do, because we're human, right? No one's perfect. Is knowing how to deal with the emotions that are involved and how to deal with the situation if you're in it. The goal is not to make the situation worse. Is to minimize the risk of anyone being hurt, whether they're hurting someone else or even hurting themselves in that process. So, yeah, moving forward, it's a lot more than just this. So once again, I appreciate everyone who takes the time to listen. You can be doing so many other things, but you chose to listen to us. You chose to join us. Thank you for all who show love, who gave us their feedback via DM. The very few comments that we do receive, but it's major. The fact that we know that it's helping a lot of people out there. Really appreciate you all. Don't forget, we're on every week, every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Central, and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, West Coast. Next week, we are on for episode 72. One last thing before we disconnect. If you want to get notified for our live, I do have the live scheduled on my profile. You'll see the episode and the number. When you click on that section, you'll get notified 2 days before, the day before, and the day of. Don't miss. Make sure to click, get notified, get those notifications, and don't forget to encourage your friends, family to go ahead and join us. It's much greater than what you're seeing now. So let's make it happen. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Remember, patience is a virtue and faith is the substance. Hope everyone has a blessed night. Big bro, anything you want to go ahead and drop before we disconnect?
Nah, bro, I think we hit it. Just, of course, again, if you guys need prayer, reach out to us, please. Anything that you guys
Sure.
need, do not hesitate to reach out. It's legit. You know, we're not seeking anything. Just reach out. We'll be there.
Don't forget, next week, episode 72, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Love you all. Have a good night. See you all. Patience is a virtue and faith is the substance. Don't forget, keep going, keep pushing. Don't give up. The time is now to make it happen. Make everything happen.
Amen. God